Spider Pig, Spider Pig. Hello everyone, and welcome to this new feature we're calling After Credits, where myself and usually Dean, I would have thought,
usually me,
are gonna literally, as we leave the cinema, we're gonna do a little review on what we've just seen, and we've just come out of Spider-Man Homecoming.
Well, that was worth the wait, wasn't it? That was worth the wait. You know, I didn't think they could make it better than the 90s Spider-Man. Literally, the 90s Spider-Man. I thought, are they going to be able to make it better?
Beats it?
It beats it.
Yeah?
It beat it. I think it beats it. I think that there was not one moment in that film that I wasn't entertained from start to finish, even through the slow bits. And the bits where you got to know the character and everything. It was absolutely amazing.
The style, the feeling of it, you genuinely felt like you were following this school kid around, and that sounds wrong. The story was compelling. The villain, I thought, because we've always had a bit of a gripe with the villains, haven't we?
Yeah.
They've always been a bit limp, but this one genuinely felt like he had some motive, and he also had a point.
He did.
Without spoilers, like I get it. I understood where he was coming from.
Yeah, it showed that small scene at the start of the film, and that set his tone, his frame of mind throughout the rest of the film.
Yeah.
And just the way that all the scenes came together, I just thought it was just really well edited. There was no slow bits. There was nothing that felt out of place. It felt like Spider-Man from start to finish.
Yeah.
And the way it just seamlessly fit in with the Avengers universe as well.
I was just about to say,
really well.
It's probably more Marvel than any Marvel film so far. It really is fully in that world, isn't it?
I think they've hit the stride now, haven't they? Marvel are literally now, they're completely in their stride. They know what works in the cinema, and they just seem to be getting better and better. They keep on just churning out these films.
Yeah.
And they're keeping it at the same level, but I think that was just edging above the level. I think it was a brilliant film from start to finish.
What did you think of Tom Holland as Spider-Man?
I wasn't 100% sure when I first saw him, when I first said, is this going to work? But then he did play quite a good role in Avengers, and through that film he played a really, really good role. You just felt like it was always the younger Spider-Man, wasn't it? I mean, how old is he meant to be in the film? 14 or 15?
Yeah.
But he played it really, really well. I think he played it well.
He's probably my favourite. He's got just enough cockiness, hasn't he? Without being annoying. I know they're starting to film. They're looking like they're jumping into the sequel very quickly because they're wanting to keep him fresh-faced and be that younger Avenger.
And also in the film as well, I just like how they didn't overuse Tony Stark. So I was a little bit afraid when watching the trailers.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Tony Stark in them trailers.
Yeah. A lot of people have commented on that.
Exactly, yeah. And I was too afraid he was going to be too much in the film. But when you actually watch the film, he's just there, just in the right proportions. He doesn't overtake it. He complements it. He's there in the right time and the right scenes. Yeah. And it's all about Spider-Man, even when he's in the scene.
There was a lot of jabs saying, it's going to be an Iron Man 4, do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. But they overdid it, I think. But people are going to see your film, Sony. Do you know what I mean? Calm down.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, the trailers did give away a little bit too much, but there's so much more material in there. Yeah. When you go along, you just really enjoy the film.
They all fit the roles quite nicely, didn't they?
It was Michael Keaton, wasn't it, who was playing?
Michael Keaton, yeah.
Yeah, he played an absolutely great part as well. It's because you'd expect that from him, wouldn't you? He had his standard performance.
There was a couple of times he bordered a tiny little bit on cheesiness, almost like, he's just the... But the only thing I'm going to have a little bit of a dig at is CGI. There's a little bit of overuse, I think, in these films nowadays. This isn't just Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm finding that in a lot of films. Like we said in Wonder Woman, like there's a few CGI scenes that just look a little bit ropey, a little bit like it's the way the bodies move, and I know it's not natural. So watching it happen on screen, it's very obvious. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
There's a few bits where he's running, a few of the jumps, they all look a little bit weird. You maybe not notice it on a TV screen, but when you're watching a big screen cinema experience like that, you pick out certain bits and it pulls you out a little bit. And if you compare this one to the original Spider-Man, the 2002 Spider-Man, there's a lot more practical stuff done in that, and I do think they can gain a little bit of an advantage in that regard. Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's what you expect, isn't it, from modern films?
yeah,
I,
it's just too easy for them to go, oh, we'll just do all that in post.
yeah.
But other than that, the story was well paced. The how it fits into the Marvel universe was perfect. How it leads up to future films is nicely done. I'm excited to see what they do with this character. And what Marvel, I mean, we have to marvel at Marvel, like
Marvel at Marvel.
what they've
You
created.
just went there, didn't you? You just went
I
there.
did. I swang in, and I'm putting this on the web.
No, you're not putting the web. No.
They've took the passion that people had for the comics. I mean, they're very passionate followers, and they're really engrossed in the world that they built in the comics, and they were in love with the characters, and you know, and they managed to pull that across into the cinematic universe.
They
And
have.
a lot of people do whinge that there's maybe a little bit overkill with superhero films, and it doesn't help that DC have jumped in, Fox have got their own,
They're all jumping in.
and now Sony are
Sony, yeah.
off the back of this. But what they have created is hugely impressive. Is that all your thoughts?
That's all my thoughts. It's
Yeah.
a brilliant film.
Yeah, we'll have more when we've had more time to process it all. We'll talk about it. I'm going to do a written review of it. I'm also going to I'm sure we'll talk about it in a future podcast as well.
Oh yeah, there's loads more to talk about. It's just doing it without spoilers, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's good to do this when you come out of the cinema. This is the high that people come out of the cinema with. Like, I know over time you think, oh, they could have maybe done that bit better, but this is our initial thoughts straight after, and I think it's good to hear.
It was like Avengers. It was Avengers 2, wasn't it? We came out. It was Avengers 2. We all
Yeah.
came out and we all thought, oh, that was really good. And then suddenly
did.
we started to decipher it and we think, hang on a minute, no, that could have been better. And maybe the villain wasn't as good as what it could have been. And then
Yeah.
little things creep in. I'm not feeling that now because
No.
I didn't feel it 100% when I came out of Avengers.
If you come out of the cinema feeling like we feel like now, then it's
Yeah.
a good film.
It's a good film.
You
It's
can
a good
nitpick
film.
it later on, but at the end of the day, it's a really good film.
It is.
And to be honest, I can't imagine that many people who would listen to this review won't see it or haven't seen it already, because you're probably going to see this. This is going to be massive, this film.
I think it's going to have a high rating,
Yeah.
yeah. I think people are going to come back and it's going to have a really high rating,
Yeah.
this film.
Well, there we go. That's the first episode of our after credits, and we'll throw a few more to these at you over the coming months and maybe years, Dean. If you've got a few years left in you, Dean.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe. One or two.
I'm joking. Right. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.
Until next time. See you. Bye.